All right. Good morning. Welcome into our training webinar today. We're just going to wait a minute or so to have any other participants file in before we get started, and then I will walk you through our agenda for today. Okay, I think what we'll do is we'll get started, and then if anyone else files in, we'll have them access the recording after the fact. So, Jackie, welcome on into our training session today. We're going to be going over all of the functionality of Teams call queues. So if you need any information on how to use Teams Voice in general as a platform, it's all going to be located in the Unified Communications link I shared in the Q&A section. As well, I'm going to have a Microsoft form in there that's going to be a post-training survey to basically tell us how we did today, and if there's any feedback you would like to give us about the training session. But at this point, I will have Ketty go ahead and take over.
All right, thanks, Aurelia. Hello, Jackie. It's you're having a special training session just for you today. How are you? And if you're
Yeah,
speaking
I'm good.
Chinese,
Thanks
okay,
for
okay.
having me.
Of course, now we're happy to have you here. So we are going to start with some of those key functionalities that you have inside of your M365 Teams Voice application. Before we start, we're going to just start with a quote here. The quote for today is, "The day is yours," and it is because we are in the day. We actually were able to kind of make it to this day, which is a blessing in itself. So we can make today ours. And it's also a Friday, which is another reason why we should make it ours as well. So what we have today, let's just go ahead and enjoy it and do those things we would love to do. And this weekend, do those things that you want to do this weekend. All right. So we're going to flow right into it, flow right into the conversation here of what are those key things that are going to be important to us. If you have any questions, feel free to just mute yourself and just ask your questions. It's just you in the session, so it's not going to be too hard to manage that question experience. So just unmute yourself. We'll be more than happy to answer some of those questions for you. All right. All right. So Aurelia's going to go ahead and share a screen and we're going to begin. All right. So what you're going to be able to see now, if you haven't had the session for the Microsoft Teams voice training, we did several sessions for that. So if you haven't done that yet, you can always request for a recording. We'll share a recording of those sessions with you. Today, we're really going to be focusing on the Microsoft Teams call queue because you're going to be part of this call queue experience, and that's what we're seeing here in the screen. So what this looks like is that you're going to have a call queue experience inside of your Microsoft Teams group. You're going to be able to click the Microsoft Teams group in the left navigation pane of your Microsoft Teams, select that, and you're going to have a Teams group that is specific to your call center group, all right, which is, we see the ITS call center. You're going to go ahead and click that. That's going to open a Teams group that gives you specific functionalities that you'll be able to kind of leverage and also make calls inside of at the same time. Let's walk through some of those functionalities that exist for you. The first thing you're going to see is the post section. In the post section, in the tab at the top over there, you'll be able to kind of go ahead and push out posts to your colleagues who you're collaborating with, or your colleagues who you're in that group call with, or that you're in that call queue with. What that means is that if you ever have a situation in which you get on a call, somebody asks you a question, you don't have the answer to that question, you can come to the post over here, put in that question, ask your colleagues, and your colleagues will be able to kind of respond. One way that you can actually get the attention of everyone once you're posting is that inside of the post itself, if you add the actual Teams group, so if you go ahead and in the post there, when you type in, you put the @ sign and you put the name of the Teams group, ITS call center. That's going to send a notification to everyone that you actually put this information in here. Okay. That way you can now go ahead and input that question or that specific comment you want to get your group to be aware of, and you'll be able to kind of go ahead and leverage it in that sense. That's really what the post is going to do for you. The tab that's right beside the post is the files, just at the top over there. The Files tab is going to allow you to input any documents that you find relevant and also to access any document that your colleagues have inputted in there that they find relevant. All you have to do is just click on the upload button over there. You can upload a folder file or any templates for your colleagues to use. That's going to be kind of that central file repository there that you'll be able to kind of leverage to add any documents that you want to add. The key tab inside of the call group that you're going to be working on a daily basis is going to be that calls tab. The calls tab is going to take you into that call history, and any single call that you get inside of our organization, you're going to be able to see that specific call inside of your call history over here. You're going to be able to kind of actually filter through the calls based on the tabs that exist there: all calls, incoming calls, outgoing calls, voicemails. We're going to come back to the voicemails shortly. If you're ever in a situation in which you want to go ahead and search a specific number, maybe somebody called you, you remember the digits, you remember it's 2934, you can click on the filter icon, which is that funnel looking icon over there, and just input the digits that you remember at 2934, and that's going to find you that specific call itself. Jackie, tell me what's on your mind.
Yeah, sorry, the chat is restricted. I can't actually put anything in there, but I want to put a screenshot that I don't actually have the calls tab on my Ignite call center.
Okay, are you in your call center right now? You have that Teams call center that exists for you?
Yes, but I don't have the calls tab. I
Okay.
can send a screenshot if you want in the chat, if you mind turning that on.
Yeah, Jackie, if you want, you can actually send that to me directly. You can
Oh,
just
okay.
send me a private message.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. We'll explore that shortly. So once you do get the calls tab, you'll be able to kind of have these functionalities. And once Aurelia looks at that, you'll be able to kind of give us an insight on what that potentially might look like for you. If you don't have the calls tab, so if we click on the plus sign over there, Aurelia, just click on the plus sign over there and just input calls there, and you see if it's so you don't have the calls tab. It's going to be something that will have to get deployed to that Teams group directly from the IT team. So we'll look into that and ensure that that's deployed for you effectively. But instead of that calls section, once you do have that experience, what you'll be able to kind of do is you can use the filter, but you also have the voicemail experience in which all the voicemails that you get are going to be coming into this calls tab for you. And inside of this area, if you click on that specific voicemail, towards the right, you're going to have the voicemail, the actual transcript of the voicemail, or the audio of the voicemail that you can actually listen to. just over there, you can play the actual voicemail. Your voicemails are also going to go to your email. So whenever you're in a situation which you need to share a voicemail that you got with a colleague or a manager, you can actually just you can actually just go into the email and just forward that email to the colleague or to the manager that you want to forward that voicemail to. Inside of the actual call as well, if you're looking at the calls that came to you, you hover on a specific call, you're going to see the three dots, the ellipses. It really just going to give you the ability for you to kind of call back, or you can actually, for external folks, you'll be able to kind of mark as unread so that you can come back and understand which calls you need to go back to and call for the most part. The key area you're going to be working on is going to be that right-hand corner there that says agents. In there, you're going to have the dial pad. The dial pad will allow you to input the phone number of the person you're looking to call externally and be able to kind of click call and be able to call them. You're also going to be able to input the names of the people internally who you want to call and also be able to call them from that dial pad as well. Below the dial pad is your work number. So if you're ever in a situation where somebody asks you, hey, what's your work number? You can actually share that specific work number with them and they'll be able to kind of go ahead and access and call you in that fashion. Just right below that work number, we have your profile, and then there's a toggle button. That button is to, if you're in a situation in which you want to kind of go in or out of the call queue, you can turn that on, and that's going to put you into the call queue. What that means is it's going to put you into the queue of people who get the receive the call when the com calls in, goes through different people. You're going to be inside of that queue of people. If you're going on break or going into a meeting or something, you want to turn that off so that you're not part of that call queue. You can just go ahead and toggle it off, and that's going to allow you to be out of the call queue temporarily until you turn it back on. If you want to kind of see who are inside of the call queue, who isn't, because you can see at the bottom you have the group of your colleagues who are part of that specific call queue, you can hover on that mini icon there of the mini icon there. It's going to show you who is inside or who is not inside of the call queue. You can see Alexandro is in the call queue while Adele is not in the call queue. If you're ever going on break and you realize everyone in the call queue is out, the best opportunity for you to do, the best thing for you to do is to go ahead and post in the actual Teams group and just let everyone know break time. You can add the Teams group so that everyone gets the notification and just say, hey, I'm going on a call queue and no one is available. I'm going on break and no one else is in the call queue. So can somebody come on the call queue so I can go on break? You can put that in there and be able to kind of communicate. If we go back to the calls tab there, those are the key things you're going to need to know when it comes to your calls tab and your Teams group experience. I want to go into the settings and show you some of the settings you're going to have access to. But before I do so, I want to ask any questions so far. Nora, welcome to the session.
Thank you. Sorry, I
Of
was
course.
late.
Oh, no worries, no worries. You didn't miss too much. So, any questions, Jackie? Tell me what's on your mind.
Yeah, by any chance, is there a possibility to have like call history there, not just the calls that are forwarded to voicemail?
Yeah, so this is the call history over there that you're looking at. So every single call that you have is every single call that comes in or goes out, that history, you can see the tab there is labeled history. You'll be able to kind of see all those different calls in there. And then those tabs are just to kind of filter to all calls or incoming calls or just your voicemails for the most part.
Yeah, for some reason, I think my teams might have some issues with that. We don't actually have a call history. The only history that we get is when it gets forwarded to voicemail.
Do you mind sharing can you share, do you have the access to share screen here, Jackie?
Try, yeah. No, I do not have the option for that.
Yeah, you can go ahead and send that information to me, Jackie, because from the sounds of it, not having the call tab and also not having access to the history sounds like a configuration issue that may need to be forwarded off. I'd just like to
Mm.
see that before we move forward.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Okay,
Awesome. Thank
beautiful.
you.
Thank you.
Another thing I want to check for you, Jackie, if you click on the calls application, just on the left-hand navigation pane there, if you go to the calls application there, do you see a call history there as well?
Yeah, so for my own call history, I definitely get it. But for my
Okay.
teams, for at least for my call center, my team tells me that they are never able to see the actual person who's calling unless they leave a voicemail.
Okay, good, good. All right, so that's going to be a configuration because it's specific to your team's call center. Okay, we'll have to look at that and ensure that that aligns effectively. But yeah, so you should be able to have the same experience as you have in your own calls, in which you'll be able to see all those call histories. Okay, beautiful. We'll definitely jot that down and take that to the technical team. All right, so if you want to go into the settings, the way you can go into the settings is if you go to the three dots at the top right beside your profile, you'll be able to kind of go ahead and click on the settings over there and access the settings by going to settings. So I imagine, Jackie, are you an administrator of the Teams group? If you go into the calls section inside of this area, you'll be able to kind of leverage, you have the personal, you also have the call center settings. If you click on that, if you're an admin of the team, you'll be able to kind of see not just the call receiving. The call receiving is just the ability for you to turn on the toggle there to put yourself in the queue or put yourself out of the queue. If you're an administrator of the team, you're going to be able to also change the greeting choose the greeting that people receive whenever they're on a call. You can actually click on the drop down, you can upload a specific greeting, or you can actually also put a message that's going to be read out by the automated voice. You can also in there choose the music that's going to be played as well. And you can input that, upload that, or just use the default. You're also going to be able to go ahead and configure the call overflow handling. What that means is that you can choose a greeting when somebody goes into a maximum number of calls. The last thing there as well, you're also going to be able to kind of call out and choose the greetings or the music, the voicemail the um, for the actual voicemail greeting or maximum time reached over here in the call timeout handling. So as an admin, you'll be able to kind of do those functionalities, so choosing the music or choosing the overflow handling or the timeout handling. But the regular individuals are really just going to be able to see the toggle at the top that allows them to put themselves in or out of the actual queue. Inside of the actual meeting itself, you're really just going to be seeing the same kind of functionalities that you saw in your own experience inside of the Microsoft Teams voice. And what that looks like is looks like this. So inside of the meeting, inside of an actual call, you'll be able to kind of go ahead and see this dial pad. And the dial pad is going to allow you to, if you're in a call, you want to bring somebody else into the call, you can input the phone number of that person and bring that person into the call. The other thing you're also going to be able to see inside of the call itself is the participants icon. If you click on the participants icon, I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger here for us. If we click on the participants icon, we'll be able to kind of input the name of the person that we want to kind of bring into the call and input them, or we can actually input a phone number and bring them into the call. If you ever bring the wrong person into the call, or you could get somebody into the call and that person's phone number is no longer associated to them, you can click on the participants icon, click on the ellipsis, and you can remove them from the call. The other things you're going to see inside of the call is the ellipsis. You're going to be able to click on the ellipsis and put someone on hold if you have to put someone on hold and resume. The ellipsis as well is going to show you the transfer button. So when you are looking to transfer the call to someone, somebody calls you, says, I'm not looking to talk to you, Nora or Jackie, I actually want to speak to Sarah. They're going to go ahead and click over here. You can click on the ellipsis, click on transfer, and that's going to give you this window over here where you're just inputting the name of the person you want to transfer the call to. You're going to be able to kind of decide if you want to ring back if there's no answer, or if you want to click on the drop down and transfer it to the voicemail. Once you go ahead and select that, you'll be able to kind of go ahead and transfer that call effectively to Sarah. If you see the icon here, it tells you that Sarah is not available. The ways that you can know what these icons mean is that inside of your Microsoft Teams itself, when you click on the icon here at the top, you'll be able to kind of see here, presenting over here, the first drop down, what those different icons mean, okay? All right, so Sarah wasn't available, so I transferred it to a voicemail. The last thing we're going to see instead of the call itself is the consult and transfer. We can go ahead and consult and then transfer, and we can consult Sarah first, have a chat with her first, and then go to the drop down here. We can also call her and have a phone conversation with her first before we transfer the call. Those are the key things we're going to be able to see when so inside the call, those key functionalities we can use. If you're somebody who likes to have a remote life work-life balance, you can actually leverage the mobile application. What that means is that you can actually go ahead and download the mobile application, be able to kind of leverage the same tools inside of the Microsoft Teams that we're experiencing right now in our desktop application with a mobile phone itself. So you'll be able to kind of also make those calls, get access to your team's call center groups, and be able to kind of execute the same things you're doing, but remotely. So I always use the mobile application when I'm traveling. It's actually very useful for me. So if that's the case for you, all you have to do is go into the Apple Store, Google Store, or Microsoft Store and just download that mobile application and start using it as of today. That's that's everything for our training today. If you have any questions about Microsoft Teams or Microsoft Teams Voice, at the three dots over here at the top, you're gonna see the help section over here. The help section will take you to the video training. You're gonna be able to go ahead and click on the video training, and in here you can ask any question whatsoever about Microsoft Teams or Microsoft Teams Voice. For example, I can just input call forwarding. And it's going to go ahead and find me, even if you don't write it well, it's going to go ahead and find me kind of how to set up call forwarding, give me the steps of how to actually go ahead and do it. The way that I got here was I clicked on the three dots right beside my profile in my Microsoft Teams. I went into help, I went into video training, and in here, I was able to just input in the search what I'm looking to get answered. And it's going to give me, if it has the answer, it's going to give me the step-by-step of how I can execute that. All right. Any questions that we have? Any thoughts? Okay. So far, so good. All right. All right. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm all good.
All right. So we have for that specific phone number that people can call. Aurelia, you want to update them on the
Oh,
phone number?
yes. So, as of right now, just so that everyone is aware, not all teams are going to be moved over to Teams voice call queues. So, ones that have very specific extensions, i.e., the IT support center, we're still going to have the 8888 extension, which you can call once you use the standard Humber number. You should be able to input the extension into the dial pad and then be able to transfer there directly, just in case there is a situation you have to transfer calls to the support desk.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Jackie, Nora, are we all good?
Yes, all good. Thank you.
All right. Well, have yourselves a beautiful day. And we're going to be exploring that issue that you have, Jackie. Aurelia is going to be reaching out to the technical team and exploring that for you. All right.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye
All
bye.
right. Thank you. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, everyone.